Boosie going to jail! Oh, God! Oh, God is good. I keep telling y'all, street got no God. God do not look out for street. Boosie really thought he wasn't going to jail, but that took me. I knew he was going. I said, well, wait.
A lot of things this case has stopped me from doing, traveling all across the world, making. So I just want to get it over with, and, you know. Accept my guilty plea, I'm ready to get over it.
Anything you want to say to your fans?
Just say a prayer for them. I just need prayer. I don't need nothing else.
Well, Charleston White was celebrating you taking the plea deal. I think he even said he hopes you die in jail and stuff like that.
Yeah, I heard.
The biggest thing right now was that you actually accepted a plea deal for your federal gun case.
Yeah.
Now, how long have you been fighting this thing from the very, very beginning?
I've been fighting for probably 3 years.
3 years.
Boosie might really be looking at a tough 10-year bid on this federal gun case. And the moment that news hit the blogs, Charleston White wasted no time jumping online like it was his birthday. He was grinning ear to ear, laughing like he just won the lottery, and tossing out jokes like confetti. Charleston made it clear he'd been waiting on Boosie to fall, and he wasn't holding back one bit. He even went as far as saying Boosie rotting in a cell wouldn't bother him at all. But here's where things get crazy. Just a few weeks ago, Boosie had already told his fans that he decided to take a plea deal because he was sick of running around in circles.
Where the feds picked it up.
Now, it was a state case. The feds came, picked it up. They had a ruling in the Supreme Court that went in my favor, and the case got dropped by the judge. The case got dropped.
With the system. He admitted straight up that it was the smartest play for him, even though his case had been thrown out once before. So now the big question is, did Boosie really think this plea would save him, or did he just walk right into a trap? But the prosecutors weren't finished messing with him. By 2024, they doubled back with even more firepower, hitting Boosie with a brand new indictment.
Going to jail! Oh, God! Oh, God is good. I keep telling y'all, street got no God. God do not look out the street. Boosie really thought he wasn't going to jail, but that took me. I knew he was going. He going to jail. All that newborn baby. Boosie won't get to see that newborn baby till that baby be walking and talking. Boosie going to jail!
That could strip away the next decade of his life. Meanwhile, Boosie's been pouring his heart out online, posting emotional messages about leaning on God and admitting how drained he feels from fighting the system nonstop. And while he's crying out for strength, Charleston White is over on his page throwing a full-on celebration, acting like Boosie's downfall is his own private party. Just picture it, one man begging God for strength, while the other is popping champagne.
I wasn't gonna go to trial with it from the dump, actually, but I feel like this the right move for me. I trust in God.
Campaign on live stream and laughing at the madness. This case has been hanging over Boosie's head for years, but this particular charge could be the one that finally locks the door on him for good. In federal court, being a felon caught with a gun is one of the hardest charges to shake off. Fans thought he had slipped away clean back in 2023 when the case got tossed. It felt like he finally had room to breathe, put energy back into family, and return to making music. But the feds weren't letting him slide that easy. By 2024, they came circling back like vultures, re-indicting him on the...
He brought you up because you were attacking Kanye because of the...
Nah, this Kanye West it just happened. Nigga been coming at me. He been coming at me. It's just, I can't respond to those people, bro. Like, that's a danger to what I got going on. Can't take no risk of losing this behind.
The exact same charge as if to say, nice try, but we're not done with you yet. That's when Boosie finally waved the white flag and took the plea deal. He even confessed on X, saying he thought the case was finished and he could move on with his life, but admitted, God don't make mistakes, and I'm tired of fighting. This wasn't just another bump in the road for Boosie. It felt like the moment every demon he'd been running from finally caught up with him. When that news dropped, fans...
I ain't really got no opinion on him because, my opinion can send me to prison. So I ain't really, I ain't really got no opinion on him, once Once you go to threaten people's kids, talking about you gotta lie. So, you know, I ain't the one gonna do all that. I ain't gonna do all that, you know what I'm saying? It's just, hey, you know, certain people you can't really express opinions on, and he one of those. You can't express how you feel because you might end up in prison. I ain't getting tricked off shit.
Flooded his mentions with love and prayers, but the pain was obvious. You could hear it in his tone. Boosie sounded like a man completely broken down. This wasn't the wild Boosie who used to clap back at trolls just for fun. This was a man sounding drained, heavy, like he'd been carrying years of battle scars on his back. His posts had that mix of faith and surrender, almost like he was trying to coach himself into accepting whatever storm was waiting around the corner. And for the fans who've been rocking with Boosie since the Baton Rouge grind, it cut even deeper. Because this is the same man who dodged bullets, real bullets, beat indictments, survived non-stop beefs, and even stared down hell scares that nearly took his life. Seeing him speak like that was a reminder that even the toughest warriors eventually get tired of fighting. But this time, it just hits different. 10 years locked behind those walls isn't just a timeout. It's an entire...
White folk, Boosie, you done got too much. You done let these niggas play you too mother... And this internet book dumb and it. Say, what Lil Tootie gonna do now? What Lil Tootie say? Listen, Vlad TV. Vlad ain't for Vlad post everybody going to jail but Boosie. Somebody tag Vlad TV.
New reality. And you could feel that weight dripping through every word Boosie posted. While fans were joining hands in prayer, Charleston White was on the complete opposite wave. He went live like he'd just struck gold, cheesing hard, talking reckless, and bragging that he'd called this from the start. Charleston swore Boosie would never slip out of this one, and now that the sentence is closing in, he's toasting it like it's champagne night. But he didn't stop there. He crossed into sick territory, flat out saying he hopes Boosie dies in jail. That's beyond disrespectful, but let's be real, that's Charleston's whole brand. He built his name on being hip-hop's loudest troll. The wildest part? Boosie hadn't even had time to breathe, hadn't even processed his own fate before Charleston turned it into a comedy routine for the internet. But the way Charleston comes for Boosie feels different. Every time Boosie slips, Charleston is right there, lurking, waiting to pounce. That's why fans keep asking the real question, why does Charleston White hate Boosie this much? Because at this point, it's deeper than random online trolling. This beef has roots. It goes back to late 2022 when Kanye West lit up the culture by rocking that White Lives Matter shirt. Boosie wasn't having it. He called it straight out, saying Kanye was flat out disrespecting black people, and plenty of folks agreed with him. But Charleston wasn't letting that slide. He jumped online blasting Boosie just for speaking on Kanye, and that spark set off the ugly back and forth. Then it went completely left. Instead of just firing at Boosie, Charleston dragged kids into it, clowning Tootsie Roll and even T.I.'s son King Harris. He called them ugly, said they couldn't fight, and even predicted they'd end up in jail. That's when fans realized Charleston wasn't just trolling rappers. He was hitting below the belt, dragging kids into grown men's beef just to twist a knife. What shocked people most was Boosie's response, or really, his lack of one. Everyone expected fireworks, but he stayed calm. In an interview with Tony the Closer, Boosie admitted running his mouth too much could land him back behind bars, especially when kids got dragged in. So instead of exploding, he played it smart, staying silent and calculated. Fans saw that and knew. Boosie wasn't scared of Charleston, he just knew Charleston's whole playbook was bait. Say the wrong thing, make the wrong move, and Charleston would flip it into fresh ammo to get him jammed up with the law. So Boosie flipped the script, playing chess while Charleston was out here playing checkers, even if he knew deep down it was eating him alive. By early 2023, things exploded to a new level. Charleston was already clowning T.I. over that messy paperwork party scandal when Tootie finally snapped, firing back and calling Charleston old, messy, and even telling him to go die. But Charleston, being Charleston, pushed it 10 steps further. He went live and said the nastiest thing yet. He hoped Boosie died from his diabetes, and that doctors wouldn't even send him insulin for a month. Who says stuff like that? He literally wished death on Boosie just to cut deep at his son. And then, almost like Charleston spoke it into existence, Tootie ended up arrested that same month on gun charges. Charleston wasted no time taking credit, bragging he called the cops, dropped off pictures, and even tipped off the Department of Public Safety. He claimed the feds were already watching because Boosie was a 6-time felon tied to homicides who used his kids to handle his dirt. That crossed a line. This wasn't trolling for views anymore. Charleston had dragged the beef into real life, playing with family's freedom like it was a game show. Not even 3 months later, Boosie himself got arrested in San Diego right after stepping out of courtroom. And Charleston? He couldn't wait to clown. He hopped on IG Live acting like a fake preacher, calling it God's plan and even comparing Boosie to Daniel in the lion's den, saying prison was a divine test just for him. Imagine twisting another man's downfall into a sermon. That's exactly what Charleston did, turning Boosie's pain into his own vision of holy punishment. Fans didn't know whether to laugh or throw up. Was Charleston dead serious, or just trolling on a level nobody else could touch? Either way, it was pure disrespect. Months later, Boosie finally addressed it in an interview. He said he didn't even want to entertain Charleston after the disgusting things said about Tutti. And again, he stressed, it's not about fear, it's about freedom. He wasn't scared of Charleston. He was just making sure he didn't slip up and end up locked away again. But let's be real, Charleston was living rent-free in Boosie's head. Even when Boosie kept his cool on camera, you could feel the weight of Charleston's constant clowning hanging over him. Then 2024 hit, and their beef spilled straight into streamer culture. Aiden Ross had Boosie lined up for a stream, but Boosie backed out. He didn't want Charleston's name attached to his. Next thing you know, Aiden flipped the script, claiming he turned Boosie down out of loyalty to Charleston. That messy twist went viral, and Boosie dragged Aiden for siding with a man who once praised Hitler and denied the Holocaust. That moment reminded everybody how dangerous it is chasing clout when Charleston White's name is involved. His shadow stretched so far his name became digital currency. Streamers were dropping it just to stir chaos. And Charleston wasn't slowing down. By March, he was accusing Boosie of warning promoters not to book him. Instead of brushing it off, Charleston flipped it into another rant, bragging he'd already reached out to the feds and was ready to get Boosie locked again over threats. Then he twisted the knife deeper, clowning Boosie's health for cheap laughs. And just like always, he had no proof, no receipts, but he barked so loud, people started believing it anyway. Even Boosie admitted dudes behind bars were already calling him, laughing, asking when he was coming to join them. Imagine carrying the stress of a possible 10-year sentence, then hearing inmates already mocking your arrival before you even touch the yard. That's humiliation stacked on fear. And Charleston knows exactly how to press that button. Another reason Boosie didn't want to risk trial, the wild card of Charleston White. Because if Charleston ever got a chance to sit in that courtroom, you already know what it would have been. A circus. He would have pointed fingers, testified with a smirk, then ran straight to the blog screaming he helped put Boosie away. And don't think that's impossible. Charleston got a history of telling, and he never denies it. Back when he was 14, Charleston was caught up in a robbery where another teen, Antoine Doolittle, shot and killed a man named Michael Levi. When it came to court, Charleston didn't hesitate. He testified against Antoine. In street culture, that kind of move stains your name forever, even if you're a kid. And people never let him live it down. But Charleston doesn't run from it. He defends it boldly, saying, I was young. I told the truth. That's not snitching. That's survival. When old footage from that juvenile case resurfaced, the internet lit up, dragging him for being a hypocrite, preaching street code 1 minute, then proudly claiming snitching the next. And Charleston doubled down, saying he never lived by no street code, never cared, and anyone with a problem could deal with it. The wildest part? He still throws rat around like it's the worst insult alive, all while wearing his own snitch jacket like a trophy. So when you stack it all together, it makes sense why Boosie grabbed the plea instead of gambling on trial. The last thing he wanted was Charleston hijacking the courtroom and turning it into a stage. This is the same man who brags about calling cops, setting people up, and testifying against his own crew. If he had even the smallest chance to get on that stand, he'd turn it into primetime chaos, then run to livestream screaming victory. That's why Charleston's celebrating so hard right now. To him, this isn't just Boosie catching heat, it's karma. Proof that every insult, every troll, every disrespect has been spitting for years finally landed. When you line up the timeline, 2022 spark, the shots at Tootie, the arrests, the clowning, the snitch debates. It feels like Charleston's been plotting, maybe even praying for this exact moment. But here's the reality. Boosie isn't locked yet. With that plea deal looming, he's staring down a possible decade, while Charleston's acting like the case is already sealed. The streets are split, half laughing at the drama, half waiting for the hammer to drop. And here's the scary part. If Charleston's this loud while Boosie's still free, just imagine the chaos if he actually gets sentenced. The internet won't just break, it'll explode. So what do you think? Is this the end of Boosie's run, or is Charleston just talking too loud too soon? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share, and I'll catch you on the next one.